Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to part number 5 of Epoch of Pain. We're gonna start off with Cassie Lang, then Gwenpool, moving into Ironfist and Toad, and finishing off with Heimdall and Prowler. Now you are going to use your Mutant and Mystic champions only. To be honest, you can bring any of your Mutant hard-hitting champion because all of this path is more based on how you tackle the fight us or the RPG element of the fight. So I just brought in Domino because she is my highest ranked mutant at rank 3 Sig 200, so I thought she will do a lot more damage. Needless to say, make sure that you boost well, but you will need a specialty counter for that Prowler at the end of it and the Toad. I brought in a Juggernaut for that, so I think Juggernaut is super key for all of this path. If you have him, only then attempt this one. Now as for the Cassie Lang fight, you know that she's going to go into two phases. One evading your basic attacks and one causing your special attacks to miss. And the you work around it is whenever you will parry, you will get either a pursuit passive or you will get a vigilance passive that will help you bypass both of them. So this fight is all about managing your pursuit and vigilance and making sure that you push her to an SP2 so you don't get like that huge burst damage on yourself. Also, there is going to be power sting on you for every 10 seconds. Make sure that before you use a special attack, you remove that power sting. You can do that by getting your hit meter, your combo meter to a multiple of 10 hits. So I have 91 right now. So I'm going to try to get to 100 so I can remove this power sting. So here we are, 94. And as soon as I did that, I threw my special attack. So just be careful about that. And don't forget about the global node. So you will have to keep dashing back when the cooldown that you see, there's a power drain cooldown underneath Domino's health bar. When it's about to get onto cooldown, make sure that you are just dashing back so you don't lose your power. That is very important. Other than that, this is going to be a slow fight. I would really suggest you bring your strongest mutant that is a rank 3 and then boost super well. Every now and then it might happen that if you are using a champion that is going to nullify any one of those debuffs, you're going to be reverse control. So don't bring in a champion that can nullify. Mostly champions in mutant and mystic class do not have any nullifier, but Domino is a little bit special when it comes to her abilities, so sometimes that can happen. But other than that, it is going to be a difficult fight. This fight and the Prowler fight is probably the difficult fight. So the good part here is at the start of the path, you can keep restarting if you need, and you can try again and again until you get it right. So I got the solo here and only then I went ahead with the path. But really, it's all about managing your pursuit and vigilance according to the evade and miss chance on Cassie Lang. To be honest, you can make this fight a bit easier if you bring in either an evade or a miss counter, either from the mutant or mystic class, so that can be helpful. But because I wanted to do it faster, wanting to hit hard, I brought in Domino. Some other options that can work are going to be your Magneto, your Onslaught, your Deadpool X-Force, Iceman, and also Professor X would be a really good counter here. All of them will work super well on this fight. We almost have Cassie Lang down. She's down to 4%. My vigilance is active. I'm going to throw that SP2 and that should be enough to take her out. 50,000 crit to knock her out. Moving on to the next fight is going to be a Gwenpool. Now this fight is, I think, the easiest fight in all the path. If you notice, there is a reverse control timer underneath my health bar. If it's a gray icon on cooldown, it means my controls are normal. As soon as the cooldown is over, it goes into red cooldown, that when my controls are reversed or inverted. So I have to premeditate and take care of that. You just notice I go ahead by an SP1. Now before the timer expires, I have to finish my combo with a light attack to remove that ticking time bomb on me. So that is very important. Now whenever she will throw a special attack, only then I will gain power. Now usually what I like to do, I don't throw out SP3s. What I like to do is to keep her to an SP1 and I keep throwing my SP2s. So right here, she threw an SP1 and you notice there is a run and gun counter on me. that I can remove with medium, light attacks. So let it throw a special attack. I've got 2 bars of power. Medium, light into an SP2. That is the whole rotation. The only thing you need to take care about is your inverted control timer. So in my mind, what I try to do, I try to push Gwenpool to a bar of power where she will throw a special when I have at least 50% of the inverted control timer active. If I don't have more than 50%, she is for sure going to switch during her special attack, and that becomes difficult to manage. So the best way is to corner Gwenpool, and then when you corner her, somehow her AI just throws more special attacks, so that's the best way to do it. And use your strikers in between if you want to delay the timing on the inverted controls. Try to give her a free space and bait the special attack when the timer is when you have more than 50% of the inverted control timer, and you should be good. It might take a little while, and you will gain those prowesses whenever you're going to evade the special attack. So keep her to an SP1, and slowly you should be able to get her down. Now remember the global node as well. You are going to be power drained at the cooldown unless you're dashing back or you're using a special attack. We should not be much of a problem on this fight, because anyway you are going to gain a full bar of power when Gwenpool uses a special attack. It does take a little bit used to this fight, but once you get the rhythm down on how to evade the special on inverted controls and the regular controls, you should be good. Now do not make a mistake of bringing a reverse control immune champion, because that is going to really give you a degen until you are dead for reverse control immunity champion. So you have to learn the inverted controls. Some good options I think that can work here apart from Domino is going to be Colossus. I think he will be great here because he's super tanky and also he has class advantage. Deadpool X should also be another option. You can use Dragon Man as well. America Chavez can kind of work. And Werewolf by Night should also be a good option here. But to be honest, any champion can work here. There are no specific crazy asks. Again, just like the first fight, like Cassie Lang, this fight is more about how you play it rather than the abilities of the defender. So it's more based on skill. The more you play, the more better you will get. The more you will get the hang of it. Kind of like Ares. Once you play it the first time, it's difficult. But on the 5th or 6th time, you really know how to deal with all of these fights. So I would suggest you to get your revives ready. But don't commit to the path until you get to the first 2 solos. And that can be done. Gwenpool is, to be honest, comparatively is not that difficult than all the other fights. So if you get a solo on Cassie Lang, then you can move on to Gwenpool. And trust me, you can do that with any champion because the fights are designed that way. So here we are. She is down to 14%. Another big SP2. 47,000. She's down to 3% and she is almost down. So that's the name of the game. Manage your inverted controls, manage your special one, and if you get hit by a special attack, use medium, light, and you should be good to remove all of that detonator on you after if you get hit by a special attack. And there we are, Gwenpool is down. Now moving on to the next fight. This is going to be an interesting fight. Now this is the fight where most of the people are going to have trouble with Ironfist because there is a pressure gauge counter just below Domino's health bar that you see with small numbers. If it goes to 10, you are power drained and you take a lot of damage. But if you go down to 0, you are power drained, but you don't take that much. You don't take damage at all. But the hard part here is that Ironfist is going to have a protection on him, and every time he hits you in the block, the power gauge is going to be reduced, and every time you use a basic attack on Ironfist, the power gauge is going to be increased. So the difficult part is going to be how do you manage your power gauge and your power, and then remove the protection and use a special attack to do damage to Ironfist. This is the whole deal with this fight. Now, I've done this fight quite a bit, and one thing I will tell you, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, right? Let him throw his basic attacks into you. It's okay if you're power drained, and your power gauge will be reset. So that's okay. Block more and hit less. So right here, he's going to throw a special attack. You will notice as soon as he threw a special attack and I blocked it, I got a bulwark buff on me that gives me block proficiency, so I don't take damage from the other hits. So what I like to do is block the first 2 hits, evade the last, and then throw a heavy to remove that protection. And after that, I just block his hits. And as soon as I get a special attack, I throw it out for some good damage. That is the whole rotation. So waiting for the SP1, block, last hit evade, heavy attack, protection is removed. Now I'm gonna wait for him to hit me in the block so I can gain power. And then as soon as I get an SP2, I throw it out. 130,000, domino is just crazy. Here, heavy attack again after a special attack. There you go again, 2 hits evaded, last hit evade, and then a heavy attack, the protection is removed. I stay blocking, and as soon as I get 2 bars of power, I throw it out, and he's down to 28%. Same thing, so that is the gameplay fight, that is the gameplay loop here. It does look a bit difficult, but it's very manageable. And to be honest, the block proficiency that you get, your champion will not die if you play it the right way. So last time, I just threw an SP3 because I was expecting him to throw his SP1. He didn't, but that's okay. I'm just going to use my SP1 to do some damage. As you all know, on this fight, Ironfist is not going to gain any debuffs, and I'm not going to gain any buffs. If that was enough, there's also going to be that global where you have to dash back or be throwing special attacks to not drain your power on cooldown, but that's okay. You gain a lot of power on this fight anyway, so you don't need to worry. So let's look at the loop once again. I've gained my power. I pushed him to an SP1. He threw an SP1. I blocked the first 2 hits, and then the third one I evaded, and then a heavy attack to remove the protection, and then I just block until I get 2 bars of power and I throw that out. So that is the whole rotation. It's easier said than done, but once you get the hang of it, it is a very chill fight. Just a harder version of Gwenpool, and you can get through this fight. There we are. Again, using a heavy attack, and there he goes. Now, up till now, these were the easier fights on this path, if you can imagine that. But now the fights get a little technical. Now, this fight is going to be against a Toad. Now, here, the biggest mechanic is his special attacks. You are either rooted or you're either reverse control. Now, Juggernaut is probably the best option if you don't have him. You are going to have to also account for reverse control. But with Juggernaut, I don't have to worry about the reverse control. So that's why I say that Juggernaut is very crucial for this path. If you have Juggernaut, even at a rank 2, then attempt it. Otherwise, wait for it. It's a permanent content, so it's okay. It's not gonna be like really. You don't have to like really get into Epoch of Pain and get it done. Wait for the right champions, and then you can get through it. So for this fight, Toad is going to have 3 mechanics that we have to deal with. The first one is going to be for every special attack, he is either going to root you or he's going to reverse control you. So if you notice the gray icon just underneath the health bar, if it looks like a human brain, it means the next special attack he's going to throw, he's going to reverse control you. Just like that. And if it's going to be like a hand, that means he's going to root you. That is one. The other one is, you notice that he is gaining a lot of prowesses. Every time he will reach to 10 prowesses and he throws a special attack, you will be stunned. So you have to throw, you have to get in some intercepts to remove that, or you have to push him to an SP2, and SP2 will remove all of his prowesses. Juggernaut works really well for this fight because of 1, reverse control immunes, and the constant unstoppable. If you have practice swiping from the right side of the screen to Dex, that really helps you. And the third mechanic is going to be the poison. Toad will apply a poison on you periodically, so just make sure that you are dashing back enough whenever the cooldown is up for the paralytic poison to remove that. So those are the 3 things we have to manage: the poison, the reverse controls, and the prowesses on Toad, and you can get through this fight. You notice I just push him to an SP2 and all of his prowesses are gone. So that's, in an ideal world, you need to push him to an SP1 when he has that root active on the special attack, so you can just evade the special one. And when he has that reverse controls active, you can push him to an SP2. But with Juggernaut, you don't have to worry, because Juggernaut can get easy evades also because he's unstoppable, and also he is reverse control immune, so you don't have to worry about that part of the fight. When we did the path with Cosmic, it was difficult because you really have to keep an eye when he throws that special attack, and then you have to really evade and everything. But with Juggernaut, the fight is much more easier. Now, another thing that if you push Toad to the corner, he is going to get regen on him. But there's also always forward node that keeps him his HP where it doesn't give him much of a regen there. So just like that, Juggernaut can run through this path. So again, if you don't have Juggernaut, I would suggest just wait it out. If you still want to go in, there are some options that you can use. I've mentioned them because again, this fight is more about how you fight rather than the mechanics. So some options are your Juggernaut, your Domino, your Colossus, Dragon Man, Onslaught, Deathpool X. All of these champions can work. And when something goes wrong, look, I lost a lot of health just like that in one go, but I'm able to come back and bring down Toad. But yeah, Juggernaut hands down the best option. Here we are at 2 and 1%. One final special attack, and here we go. Boom. And now fight number 5 is my favorite one. That is going to be Heimdall. The funny part is I did all of these 4 fights solo. The first one I thought, oh, Heimdall, I've got it in the bag, not a problem. Heimdall with Dragon Man is super easy, but that's where I died. But then let me just explain you the fight super quick. So every time you hit Heimdall, he is going to not take damage instantly, but he's going to store it in a battery. If you notice a battery icon in purple, that number is going to go up. Now, the whole gameplay loop here is to get that battery filled up as much as possible and then knock down Heimdall with a special attack or a heavy attack, either works. But the problem with that is that he has that unstoppable. If you notice the unstoppable icon of blue or grayish unstoppable icon underneath Heimdall's health bar, that prevents him from knocking down. The only way you can knock him down is either by special 3s or you interrupt his heavy attack and then that unstoppable goes on cooldown. Once that is on cooldown, you can freely knock down Heimdall. But if you have a champion that can apply slow, that also works. So that's where you queue in Dragon Man. So Dragon Man can easily apply slow on his special attacks. He doesn't have to worry about that unstoppable mechanic, and he can just throw his special attack over and over again. And apart from that, Heimdall, when he throws his special, only then you are going to gain a bar of power. So it becomes like a cycle. He throws a special attack, you went back in and you threw a special attack as well. But notice here that I've got to an SP2, so I'm not throwing any special attack because Dragon Man doesn't apply slow on SP2. So I'm going to wait for him to throw another special attack. I'll get to an SP3 and then I can throw an SP3. So if you don't have Dragon Man for this fight, you can use any champion. Just push yourself to an SP3 and then you can use an SP3 at the end of it. So plenty of options available. I would say Domino can work. You can also bring in Werewolf by Night. Onslaught can work as well. Juggernaut is also an option. To be honest, any champion can work, but if you have a champion with slow, that would be easier. But even if you don't, just push bait all the SP1 from Heimdall. Do not push him to an SP2. Get to an SP3 while getting that battery damage all saved up, and an SP3 can knock him down. It will be a longer fight, but it's a safer one. And if you're brave enough to intercept his heavy attack, go for that as well, so you can remove that unstoppable on a cooldown and then knock out Heimdall. So there we have it. So if you are going to use any champion with damage over time, that would also be that will also help you. For example, if you use like a Werewolf by Night, those ruptures will also like fill up the battery faster and you can do more damage with one knockdown. But if you get knocked down, look what happened. I went from around 36% health down to 19%. Everything is going so well, and then he has to throw all of those special attacks. So yeah, he can be quite annoying when he wants to be. Auto-blocking back to back after his special one, and I just died there. I was so hoping that I can get solos on all of these fights, but that's okay. We go back in to take him out. Moving on to the final fight, that is going to be a Prowler. Now this fight is all about the mischance, how you counter that. So if you block it, if you parry him, you're going to get a folder charge. If you parry him the next time, you get another falter charge, and then if you parry a third time, you will be faltered. So you have to kind of play like a no parry style, and Juggernaut works really well here because he just all of those unstoppables. You just have to block, let Prowler hit into your block, and then your unstoppable can come into play, and you can easily kind of intercept him. So you bypass all the need for parries. Another mechanic here is going to be your indestructible. So your indestructible charge, you always have to keep it on cooldown, otherwise there is no damage done on Prowler. And the way you keep that is you alternate your specials. You throw an SP1 and then you throw an SP2 or vice versa. And you can check what was your last as a special you used by the yellow icon with a number underneath your health bar, and that helps you out with that. Now I am using a Juggernaut relic, so it kind of helps me regen as well whenever I go unstoppable after a cooldown. So that is also going to be really helpful. And yeah, I like keeping Prowler to an SP1, not to an SP2, because that can be annoying sometimes to deal with because of the cadence of the hit. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty straightforward fight with the right champions. If you can bypass the need to parry, the fight is much more manageable. You just have to make sure that you dash back every time the power drain cooldown is there, because that is going to do some damage to you every time your power is drained. You can use different options here. Onslaught should work here as well. Professor X should work because he can bypass the miss. I would suggest, if you don't have a miss counter champion, use a champion that can gain power, so you can get to your specials quicker and work around that indestructible. So champions like White Tiger should be a good one here, along with Dragon Man, and of course Werewolf by Night should be great too. So all of these champions can work. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. And we are done with 5 parts. I'll get the try to get the 6th part up again as quick as possible. So if you have any questions, let the community know in the comment section, and we will all try to answer it out. And good luck with this part. See you on the next one. Bye.